Hello! Hello and welcome to mini make number 1 for 2024. This one is going to be part of a series of 3 that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks in the run up to Christmas, using products from your own stash at home. So you can use anything that you've got at home. It'll be card and paper, patterned paper, ribbon, things like that. But it'll be all stuff that you've got already at home. So you won't have to go out and buy anything especially for it. It's a great way to kind of use up some of the remaining product that you've got from making your Christmas cards or gift boxes or what have you, or it might even be a way for you to get started on some of those makes, but in a really quick way. So if you're watching this on the replay, then this is a recording of Facebook Live of making first in the series of 3 mini makes. Okay, so tonight's mini make is going to be making this lovely, this is one of the versions, a box that has a lid and is big enough for, if I tip it up, oops, for a chocolate orange. So it's that's the size of it. Really easy, nice fold down lid. Also can be made up and then folded flat if you do craft markets and things like that, so really easy. This design, the measurements and everything came from a project that was shared with us at a recent demonstrator event that I went to. That was designed by a lady called Sandra Roberts, who's a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and so we made this one at the event, and then since I have made this one also, which also has the fold flat lid. So it's really big inside. So definitely could fit candles, socks, anything like that inside. Really easy. Hi, yeah, if you're watching live, then do say hi. Hi, Mum. Brilliant. So yeah, I've used on this second one, so this first one used the gold and green papers that is from the online exclusives. If you came to my all day Christmas workshop, you may well have some of these lovely kind of mistletoe papers left. So that's what this one's used. But this second box that I've made with the measurements is using the patterned papers and the pre-die cut pieces that we used at our last card club last Thursday, which is the little bit festive papers. So you can literally use whatever you've got left over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera down so that you can see my hands and you can see the boxes, and we'll get working. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's just get this so that you can see my hands in shot there. Fantastic. That's better. So these are the two examples of the boxes. As I said, it's really quite a large box, so it's going to be really versatile, I think. You could also, Evelyn and I were talking about how she wants to give her friends some treats for Christmas. And maybe if you left the lid off, you could also then put a bigger gift inside, perhaps inside a cellophane bag or something, tie it with a ribbon so that it's kind of poking out the top of the box. I suggested to her that she might do that with what she wants to give her friends, and then they could use the box afterwards as a pen pot or something. So really versatile and really quite large. Now, the best thing about this is that it comes out of, the main box comes out of a single sheet of A4 card. So what you're going to need for the actual basic box is 2 sheets of A4 card, and that is only because you actually don't need a full sheet of the second sheet. You're just going to need kind of a scrap to make the lid, actually. So let me just get my second sheet. So yeah, so we're going to cut it out of 2 sheets, but actually if you've got a scrap of the same colour, then that will be absolutely fine. And then after that, you also need some patterned paper. So I am going to be using a sweet that we've not used yet, but that is what we're going to be using at the Christmas party. This sweet is from, is our reindeer, I think it's called Reindeer Days papers. And I just really like the fact that it's gold and green, red, gold and green, and it's just really festive. And then if you want to add a matte layer to the papers, then obviously you can use a matte layer as well. So I'm going to use red as my matte layer. And then finally, you want an image. So on the front of the one that I made originally, we've got a little snowflake and a bow. On the second one that I made, I've got an image of some mistletoe. So I've got an image of the reindeer head. So you just want an image that's a couple of inches square. I'm going to cut this one out to be able to use it. So that's pretty much all that you need. I might add a bit of ribbon as well to mine, we'll see. But let's start with just making the actual box base to begin with. So if you're going to follow along and make with me, then that's great. If you want to follow along, watch along and then make it later, then the instructions, complete instructions and all the measurements are in the Facebook post that I put on this morning, and I think it was also possibly repeated at kind of 6-7 o'clock. So if you just scroll back through the Facebook post, then you'll be able to see the measurements if you don't catch them as we're going along. All the measurements for this project are in centimetres, so that's what we're going to be using for now. Okay, so you want to take your first piece of A4 card, and with the short side of the A4 card at the top, you're going to go into the trimmer, and you're going to first start with scoring. So this is a complete sheet of A4 to begin with, and you're going to score it at 7.5 centimetres. So let's just get that lined up. At 7.5 centimetres. And you're going to score it at 15 centimetres. So just move the trimmer along, and then you will need your arm out for the last measurement, because you're then going to cut, yes, I did say cut, at 16 centimetres. And that basically just gives you another centimetre on the bottom for creating an attachment fold. So you've got a score at 7.5, a score at 15, and then a cut at 16. And this piece you're going to discard because it's not big enough for our box lid. It may be that you can use it for some kind of decoration, or I should probably cut it up and make it into tags, to be truthful. So that bit you can discard. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn that A4 card around. Doesn't matter which way you've got it in terms of the score lines, as long as you've got now the long side at the top, and you're going to score at 10 centimetres. So make sure that you've moved the cutting blade out the way. So you're scoring at 10 centimetres, and then you're going to cut at 14.85. So this is just between the 14.8 and the 14.9, just halfway. And you then will have two identical sized pieces, but one has a score line on it and one doesn't yet. Okay, so the piece with the score line, just put to one side. Put that second piece without the new score line in it, and you're going to score that one at 10 centimetres as well. So you've then got two identical pieces. Okay, so let's just move that out the way for the time being. So let me just show you what your scored pieces should look like. So I'm just going to draw it on the grid paper for you. So once you've done all your score lines, it should look like this. That's what each of these two pieces should look like. So they look identical. Okay. Okay. So the next step is to fold and burnish all of those creases. So fold them over. Make sure you get the edges even. and burnish them with a bone folder. Doesn't matter which order you do them in, just make sure that you get everything so it's got a really strong crease on it, because we're going to need the creases because we're going to cut some little elements out so that this folds up as a really neat box. Okay, so you can probably better see the score lines now. So do that on both pieces. And there we go. So each piece has 3 score lines that need burnishing. Okay. So once you've done that, we're then going to join these 2 pieces together to create our actual box. Now, in order to do that, what we don't need is this piece here. So let me just mark it with a pencil. So we're going to get rid of that bit there. Okay, and we're also going to need the bigger sections are going to be the sides of the box, and these smaller sections are going to be the base of the box. So we also need to cut down the middle, and I'll show you a little technique for making that really neat in a moment. But the first thing we need to do is to get rid of these 2 sections here, because we don't need those. So I'm cutting to the left of the score line so that I know that it's going to be really neat when I cut it out. And I'm also cutting just above the score line on the horizontal on the box side as well. So I'm basically, where you've scored, you'll see that you have kind of little, if you can see that at the top there, little humps where the score line is. And I've cut the humps out, if you like, because that makes it a bit more even. I'm going to do the same on the other piece. So cutting to the left of the bump and just above the bump. So you've got those 2 little bits there, which we can also get rid of. You don't need those. And then to make the base of the box, what you need to do is to cut either side of that little bumpy score line. And I'll show you how to do it. So you need really sharp scissors for this. So cut either side. It's a very small score line. And what you'll get is that little piece. And that's the little bit that you remove. And then what that does is that makes sure just that little bit, it's a millimetre or so. And then what that does is it makes sure that when you fold the flaps up, it folds really easily and you don't get any overlap or anything. So just cut that little bit of the score line piece out. Just chop that bit out. Oops. Pull it up. Just snip it at the top. There we go. So then you should have 2 pieces that look something like that. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is join them together. Actually, we're going to have the join on the inside. We're going to join them together so that you've got one long piece. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape on that little attaching flap. And just chop it off at the top again so it's nice and neat. Peel that off. I'm just going to attach that. In fact, let's turn it over so I can attach it and maintain the crease there. Get the top and the bottom nice and level. There we go. So then you've got your complete box. Now, before we go any further to actually make the box up, we want to add the patterned paper on the outside because it's just so much easier to add when you've got the box flat before you put it all together. Okay, so we'll do that next. I'm just going to put this to one side while we cut out the matte layers and the pattern paper layers. So let's get that out of the way. Bring the trimmer back in, and we'll start with the matte layers. So the matte layers, which I'm going to cut out of scraps, are going to measure 9 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres. And again, the measurement is on the instructions on the Facebook page. So 9 centimetres first by 6.5. And obviously we're going to need 4 of these for the 4 sides. 1, 2, 3. Make sure those over there. And 1 more. 6.5 by 9. So 4 of those layers. And then you also need, obviously, your patterned paper layers. Now, when you're cutting your patterned paper, if you've got an actual pattern to it, not, you know, if you've got a right way up and a wrong way up, then just make sure you've got it up the right way. So it's going to be vertical like that, the pattern. So I'm going to cut the matte layer at 6 centimetres wide, and then I'm going to cut it into 8.5 centimetre strips. But to make sure that my pattern's going to stay the right way up, I'm going to cut it all the way down at 6. In fact, I'm going to cut 2 because I know I'm going to need more than 1. So there we go. And then 8.5. So 6 by 8.5 are your matte, your patterned paper layers. If you're using a matte layer as well. 6 by 8.5. Those pieces out of the way. And then the final one. So you'll need obviously 4 of those for your 4 sides of your box. Okay. Okay, and then that is all the pieces that you're going to need for your box. So let's bring all those bits back in. So you've got your box base there. You've got 4 matte layers and 4 patterned paper layers as well. Making sure that the patterned paper is going to go the right way up. So remember the smaller squares that you've cut out the score line from, those are the base flaps. They're gonna form the base of the box. So this is the bit that we need to do next, just basically gluing all of this in place, and then we can assemble the box. So let's get started. I'm going to use a multi-purpose liquid glue so that it's really quick and easy to glue all the pieces on. Just going to go a piece at a time. Now, if you want to, you could make these matte layers stand out from the box by putting them on dimensionals if you wanted to. So putting them on some 3D pads. I've actually done that to the lid on my blue box because I think it looks just a bit, makes the lid stand out a bit more. But you could do that on all the sides if you wanted to as well. If you really wanted to kind of give it that depth and dimension. And whether you're making this now or whether you're catching up later today or another day, I would love to see what you've made. It's great when everybody shares their different patterns and their different papers and designs and things. So would love to see what everybody has made. So do feel free to share photos in the comments. I'll stick another post on afterwards with the photo of this box, and then you feel free to add photos of your own make underneath so we can see what papers everybody used. I mean, this box is really, really versatile. It doesn't have to be obviously made out of Christmas paper. You know, it'd be great for gift giving all year round, really. It's such a simple box to make. I love the fact as well that it's one of the few boxes that's a really decent size, and where the box is made out of one single sheet of A4, not out of a sheet of 12 by 12. Because if you don't keep loads of 12 by 12 in, which I don't, then often you get you end up having to buy a sheet of 12 by 12 just to make a particular project, and I don't like that really. I've always got A4 in, so that's a much better idea. Okay, so once you've stuck all of your patterns the right way up on the sides of your box, then you can assemble your box, and you're going to add your lid last of all, so it's absolutely fine to go ahead and stick the sides down now. So I'm going to put some tear and tape on the side here, and then because all the measurements are the same, you can just fold it over and stick the join, which is, I also really like the fact that it's easy to, you don't have to kind of fiddle around kind of holding it in the air while you're trying to join the sides, which is brilliant, I think. So you can fold it over, and as long as you've got the top lined up, it will just join. There we go. And then you've got the 4 base pieces that are going to form the base of your box. So just put some tear and tape on. You only really need it on one of these 4 flaps. You don't actually even need it across the other flaps to join it together. You only need one, because the weight of whatever you're going to put inside it, certainly if you're putting a chocolate orange in it, definitely, that weight is going to hold the other inside layers down, so you really don't need anything more than that. I'm going to put a second piece of tape across, but you don't need to join all the individual layers of the base. It also, because it's lots of layers as well, it makes it really strong, this base, which is also what you want, because the weight of a chocolate orange is actually quite heavy. So the only bit to do is to make sure that you've got it square. So your edges, the edges of that last but one flap are square, and then when you put the flap down, you also get those edges square. And then turn it over, get your bone folder, and just give it a real good rummage around inside, so that you get that base to stick down. And that's your basic box. So if you were going to, like I suggested to Evelyn, if you were going to then put a gift inside with perhaps some clear plastic bag or something, or a gift bag or something like that, and then tie the top with ribbon, you could just leave it like that. You wouldn't have to add the lid on if you didn't want to. But if you're going to put a chocolate orange in it, or use it as a lidded gift box, as we're going to today, then we need to make the lid next. So let's move the gift box out to one side. Bring back in your scoreboard and trimmer, and you're going to need that second piece of card, or if you've got a scrap, you can easily do it out of a scrap. So the measurement is 7.5 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is put the long side in at the top. So I'm just going to cut a 7.5 centimetre strip off the side, and then that wastes as little card as possible so that the rest of this piece of card I can use for another project at another point. So let's move that over there. So 7.5 by 10.5. That piece will make another lid if I made more boxes the same. And then with the long side at the top, you're going to score 2 measurements. So you're going to score at 1 centimetre. This is a kind of clever trick as well. If you've got a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, then what you'll notice is you've got 1 to 3 centimetres or 1.5 inches to the right of the trimmer. And you've then got all the way to 16 centimetres on the left-hand side of the trimmer. So when I'm just scoring or cutting 1 centimetre, 2 or 3 or 1 inch, I always do it to the right-hand side and then flip it round. So I'm going to score at 1 centimetre, and that's going to be the attachment piece that will attach the lid to the box. Then I'm going to turn it all the way round, and I'm going to score at 8.5 centimetres. So that's this side now. And then this larger section is going to be the fold that tucks inside to create the tucked in piece of the lid. Okay, so while I've got my trimmer out, I'm going to also cut my matte layer and I'm going to cut my pattern paper. So my matte layer is 6.5 by 6.5. So 6.5 by 6.5. That's my matte layer. And my patterned paper layer is going to be 6 by 6. So the piece that I cut off unfortunately isn't going to be quite big enough. So, but I'm gonna. Is it going to be quite big enough? No. .5, yeah, no, so I'm going to need, oh no, hang on a minute, no, it might be actually, yeah, it will be, it was 6 centimetres, wasn't it? Looking at my measurements again. Yeah, so that little remaining strip that I cut off, I can cut that to, there we go, that second piece. And again, I just need to make sure that because my pattern's is directional, that I get the direction going in the right way. Okay, so let's do the lid again. So the lid is 7.5 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres, and it's scored at 1 centimetre and at 8.5 centimetres. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a bit of trimming. So I'm going to just cut some little triangles off of all of the corners so that when the lid attaches, it doesn't catch anywhere. Now, to make sure that that front flap is really neat, you could either use a corner rounding punch, or cut one triangle off and then use that angle of that triangle as your guide for cutting the next one. So just overlay it. Oop, it's kind of fiddly, but it's worth it because you know that you'll get exactly the right angle then to cut. There we go, that's second. And then you know that your the flap for your lid is really neat because it's exactly the right measurement. Okay, so my lid's going to go this way up. Let's move these little bits out of the way. So you obviously don't need to keep those. Just get that rubbish out of the way. And then we can add the pattern paper and matte layer. So again, you've got to make sure that it's up the right way. So let's just add it to the matte layer first, and then we can work out which way up it needs to go. So glue that down, and then get your bone folder again and fold and crease those score lines. And then the larger piece is the bit that's going to tuck in, and this is the hinge at the back. So it's going to be, if my box is facing me, then the lid is going to be this way around. So I'm going to make sure that my pattern paper also goes that way around, so that when it's looked at front view on, it's the right way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it that way so that I know that this is the right way up. And I'm actually going to put some 3D pads on my lid so that it really stands out. So I'm just going to put a couple of just dimensionals in the corners and one in the middle as well, so that it doesn't flop in the middle. And then take those sticky pads off. And get it the right way up. Remember, this is the right way up because it's facing me. Stick those down. There we go. And then you've got just slightly raised. It gives it a really nice professional look, really. And then the hinge part of the lid has got to go on the inside of the box, because you don't want to ruin the lovely pattern paper that you've already stuck on. So you need to put some tape again on the right side, essentially, of the hinge. Apologies, I didn't turn the sound off on my phone. It's pinging away here. I expect that's somebody saying either we're in the wrong place or that they can't find us, one or the other. And then you can then attach the hinge by lining it up with the back of the box. And then once you feel you've got it in the right place, again, give it a really good press down with the bone folder so that there's no chance it's going to separate itself. And there you go. You've got your lidded box. So then the final piece is to decorate it. So I am going to add, actually I've got 2 bits to decorate it. So I've got 3 bits to decorate it with. So I'm going to do a bow using some twine. I've also got a circle which I'm going to put on the front. So I've got a punched 2-inch circle that's going on the front, but I'm going to add on my little reindeer emblem first. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out of the paper. But obviously you can add, you know, whatever goes with your design. And as I said before, the navy blue one that I made, I used the pre-die cut pieces from the Little Bit Festive suite. So it's, you know, it works actually really well with all kinds of leftovers, including, you know, pre-die cut pieces, or if you've got any, you might have some toppers somewhere at the back of your stash. Christmas toppers are really very popular. So if you've got some toppers and you think, oh, I don't want to put those on my cards now, these would be great to add on. I'm not going to cut down all the antlers because I think that might make them a little bit too exposed. They might come off then, so I'm just going to cut them as a whole. Just cutting a bit of a border as well around the antlers. Make sure, there we go. So I've got my image, I've got a punched circle, and then I'm going to also add a little bow as well. So I'm going to cut a double length of twine, and then I'm going to do a bunny ears bow with it. Let's get that out of the way a minute. So let's just cut the loop. I'm just going to do a little bunny ears bow here. Why do we do bunny ears bows so often? Because it means that they lie flat on your work. They are a bit fiddly, but they are, I would say, generally speaking, she says fighting with the twine. Generally speaking, they are worth it. think, because you can hold the centre of the bow and really fiddle about with it and get it how you want. There we go. Perfect size look as well. Amazing. Right. So I'm going to stick mine on the front. So first of all, I'm going to glue my reindeer head to my little circle. Let's start with that. So it's nice and secure. And then again, I'm going to put some 3D pads on the back to attach the circle to the front of my box. So I always have to check and make sure I've got the lid the right way around so that I am actually sticking it on the front before I put it down. There we go. And then I need to decide where am I going to put my bow. So I think I might put it over the top of the actual bow that was in front of him. So when you're sticking bows down, it's really good to use glue dots because they're invisible to see and you can scrunch them up really easily. Just peel them off using your scissors. Or you can actually stick the bow to it, to the glue dot. Peel the bow off and the glue dot comes with it. And there we go. And that is my Terry's Chocolate Orange box made. Let's just check and make sure the Terry's Chocolate Orange goes in it, shall we? So there's our Terry's Chocolate Orange look. Perfect size for the box. Look at that. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. I like this one. I think this one with the reindeer might be my favourite so far. Really like that. So there you go. So let's bring in the other two as well. So we've got this one, oops, and this one. There we go. There's my three. Okay, let's just turn the camera back round a minute. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope that whether you're making along with me or whether you are going to be making afterwards, I hope you'll share photos of what you've made. I'd love to see all the different combinations of papers and the different designs for the front and everything, all the front images that you put on. Give us all ideas, that'd be fantastic. So I think my next mini make, I think, is Tuesday next week. I think that's right. And so if you're on my mailing list, you will be getting, you will have the details already on the monthly What's Happening in December email with all the dates and what we're making. So next time we're going to be making 4 quick cards using the stamps and the inks and a piece of plain white card that you've already got in your kit. So that will be fun. And yeah, so I will post in the Facebook page all the products that you're going to need, or all the bits of kit that you're going to need to get ready in order to make along with me. I will post that probably Sunday or Monday, so that you've got a chance to gather all your bits and pieces together. But you won't need very much at all. You need some Christmassy stamps, some small ones, so things like holly and ivy and berries and snowflakes, that kind of thing. Some stamps, some inks that coordinate with each other, maybe 2 or 3 colours, cardstock that coordinates, and a piece of white card. And then we will be making 4 Christmas cards all in one go. Really quick, really easy. And then the final mini make will be we're going to be doing a really wow card and gift box all in one, because we're going to make an explosion box card. So that'll be fun. So all new things that we haven't done before. So good fun. Okie dokie then. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Take care. See you soon.